The army is being called in over the bin strike. Don't know what. Don't know what good they're going to do. Are they going to shoot the bin bags? But anyway, military planners have been called in to help tackling mounting piles of rubbish in Birmingham following a month-long strike by refuse workers. Thousands of tons of uncollected rubbish line the city streets due to the all-out strike by Unite Union members that began on the 11th of March. The City Council has declared a major incident and asked neighbouring authorities to help tackle the crisis. I'd say put some gloves and a high vis on and get out there and do it yourself, but no, someone else has to deal with this problem. Now, after a government appeal to the army, a small number of office based planners will provide logistical support for a short time. Soldiers are not being deployed to collect the rubbish, even though it's probably going to cause a hell of an environmental hazard, and as we all know, Birmingham itself is already an environmental hazard, and it's now been made even worse. Striking workers will vote on a partial deal to end the strike on Monday, Unite has said. A government spokesperson said the government has already provided a number of staff to support the council with logistics and make sure the response on the ground is swift to address the associated public health risks. In light of the ongoing public health risk, a small number of office-based military personnel with operating planning expertise have been made available to Birmingham City Council to further support in this area. The spokesperson added this built on a range of measures on which it had supported the council, including opening household waste centres. Help withdrawn. Last week, it emerged that the government had asked other local authorities to help Birmingham City Council clear the backlog of rubbish on the streets. The Minister of Housing, Communities and Local Government said a number had offered to assist. Walsall Council was among them, offering support by extending tip opening hours so that Birmingham residents could take their waste there. However, on Monday, Walsall Council City Leader Gary said that the offer had been withdrawn, obviously because it would have been a lot. But anyway, he said, we, in line with many other local authorities, offer support to Birmingham City Council in the form of access to our HWRCs, Household Waste Recycling Centres, or as we call them in Scotland, the Clenny. We call it the Clenny. After a week, there was no signs of this being accepted, so we've taken the decision to take this offer off the table so that we can focus on continuing to deliver services in our borough. The BBC is approaching Birmingham City Council for comment. The authority is facing criticism, meanwhile, for pressing ahead with plans to switch from weekly to fortnightly collections while the strike remains unresolved. Now, here's the funny thing about government, right? Your taxes only go up. In Scotland, apparently, your council tax is what covers your bin pickup. Right now, council tax keeps getting increased all the time, but then they keep reducing our bins get collected fortnightly. Right, it used to be weekly. No, sorry, I'll take that back. It's now every 3 weeks. Basically, you have separate bins that you separate your rubbish into, and each of those bins gets collected every 3 weeks. Right, and it's a case of, apparently it's to encourage people to use, because if you just chuck it all in the one bin, eventually that bin will be overflowing, so it's to encourage people to separate and put it in all the different types of bins. However, there's certain things where if they notice like a little thing that's not meant to be in it, they'll put a little tag in your bin and just leave it there. And then your bin's really going to be overflowing because that's not getting picked up for another 3 weeks. Yeah, but yet the service gets less and less, but the price for it keeps going up. It's curious that, isn't it? Where is all the money going? But anyway, leaflets about the change have appeared in residents' letterboxes, but Martin Mullaney, a former councillor for the city's Moseley and Kings Health Ward, said the timing was politically insensitive. The leaflets state residents will have a new green recycling bin to be collected fortnightly, a food bin to be collected weekly, and a black bin to be collected fortnightly on alternate weeks to recycling collections. Mr. Mullaney said, "It's just crazy. We've got people's rubbish not being collected, and now they're getting a leaflet telling them they're going to have extra wheelie bins. People will not be very happy. The timing is appalling." Last week, Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner urged striking bin workers to accept a new deal to end the dispute. She said a significantly improved offer had been made and the council had moved significantly to meet the demands of the workers so we can see an end to this dispute. However, Unite General Secretary Sharon Graham said the deal represented a partial deal on pay protection for a few, and the striking bin workers were in the driving seat around what they wished to accept. At the end of March, the Labour-run City Council declared a major incident, citing an estimated 17,000 tonnes of rubbish across Birmingham over the first 4 weeks of the strike. I remember the bin strike in Glasgow. It was horrendous. However, my company uses a private company. So, isn't it weird how, like, private workers and everything, it's just better? It's just better. Yeah, we still had our bins picked up, but the streets of Glasgow were diabolical. Quiet phone. Yeah. It was just diabolical. Now, bin men get a bad rap, and people make jokes about, like, oh, you're going out working as a bin man. Ah, your dad's a bin man. What, the guy that literally stops everyone dying from disease? The guy that stops heavy metals going up into the air and straight into your newborn's lungs, like that guy. You're going to make fun of that guy that does this like extremely essential fucking job. You know, a lot of people really underestimate how utterly essential that bin men are to like environmental health. See, if bin men weren't around and rubbish was piled up in the streets, tens of thousands of people would die every year from all manner of fucking diseases. We would be overrun with vermin, and everyone in vermin themselves carry diseases and everything. They would get into our food. They would just be spreading parasites and viruses and bacteria absolutely everywhere. Like, bin men get a bad rap, even though their job is absolutely essential to a functioning society.